What's up, guys? Ryan here from Mudgunner. I'm joined again with my buddy Mason, and today we are talking fighting loadouts. So this is going to be a general gear thing. We're talking chest rigs, plate carriers, belts. This is mostly going to be Mason talking, so I might just be standing here just like, well, that's nice. I'm going to let Mason take it off, and he's going to explain what we're talking about today.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. Understand
that. He has a winder back here too, so I have to make sure I stop it at a certain point because he says he could do this for like 8 hours. So.
Yeah, he's going to have to be like, hey, just cut it out.
Shut up.
This could be like like an 8-hour class at least, just talking about gear and equipment. Not just like bragging about how cool gear and equipment is, right? But talking about the use of it and the need for each individual thing, and what piece of kit you're going to use for what mission set, or
specifically enforcing HOA.
Yeah, or well, this is a very specialized law enforcement. It's the tip of the shaft of law enforcement, actually. So you just got to be careful about anytime you get in discussions, right? Because there's a lot of people that deal in absolutes. And only Sith deal in absolutes, right? There's no one setup that will do everything for you. It doesn't work that way, right? It's all mission driven. Situationally dependent is a big word we use in the self-defense world for anything, and it's kind of a cop-out answer, but it does unfortunately kind of work that way. It do work that way, unfortunately.
It's not like a video game where you can pause, change gear.
Yeah, let me pick a different loadout real quick. It's not Escape from Tarkov, which is actually pretty sweet game. But anyway, I will be joined today, of course, by Ryan, the host, and also our beautiful.
I can be in frame.
Our beautiful ring girl.
Hi. He doesn't get his own
he
mic.
can't talk though, but our beautiful ring girl Kenneth, he's going to be helping me out, just getting me different equipment and stuff to kind of show you guys. So get out of this.
I just want to say really quick, a fanny pack full of loose ammunition is the top tier way to go.
That's not wrong. That's the way to do it right
Throw
there.
the bullets.
Maybe a tourniquet and just a bunch of loose 12 gauge. That's good. All right, well, I guess diving into the setups. Let's talk about what I'm wearing right now because it's easy to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So this would be the type of loadout if you are in some kind of law enforcement or security kind of setting, right? So I wouldn't be going to Afghanistan with this setup. This would be more like if you were a law enforcement officer or if you're a security guard. But it's a lot more minimalist. There's a lot less stuff on it. To kind of start, I guess, a brief breakdown of it. It is a plate carrier, so it's not an armor carrier, which I will show you guys a little later on. I'll break that down for you. So it does only still hold plates, right? This is a size medium, so it holds size medium sappy plates or 10 by 12 plates, which are different things. Those are different sizes. A lot of people don't know that. So it holds those size plates. I don't have level 4s in this vest because that's not really the use environment that I'm in for the type of work that I'm doing as an HOA enforcement agent, right? So there's soft armor, which is level 3A, so that will stop, handgun rounds, .357 Magnum, stuff like that, anything underneath that. That actually changed, though. The different levels of armor changed recently, but that's not what this video is about. And then I do have level 3 plates in here, so there is still a rifle threat defeating capability because we live in Arizona. So if you're a cop and you don't have some kind of rifle plate in a vest, I would highly suggest you reevaluate that opinion because anyone can buy a rifle here, as they should be able to do.
I also picture specifically for HOA enforcement, Karens with scissors or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, very sharp objects because believe it or not, most soft armor does not stop knives. Yep, knives or scissors. It actually doesn't stop sharp objects like that unless you get specialized soft armor that's rated for stab as well as ballistics, right? But a hard plate certainly will stop Karen's knife from entering my chest as I enforce the grass being too long in her yard or whatever, So then the actual kit on the vest itself, obviously in security law enforcement, it's very important you identify yourself. So you want to have big, large patches that identify what you are. There are legal ramifications for that, though. If you're not a cop and you're wearing giant placards on that say, I'm a cop, that's not great, right? That could be impersonating an officer. But if you're a security guard, you get a patch that says security. Obviously, that would make a lot of sense if you're an HOA enforcement agent, which I doubt very much, But if you make it that high up, then you would wear a placard to identify yourself to people. So that's a very important part of it. You'll notice there's one on the back of the vest as well, just because, people aren't always going to be in front of you. It makes sense.
Yep.
And then I have a placard here that would normally hold 3 rifle mags or whatever on your cool tactical vest. But as a law enforcement officer, the rifle's not your primary weapon. Your handgun is your primary weapon, generally speaking. So if you're going in, if you're like a cop and you're like, man, I got my vest with 8 magazines on it and stuff, hey, good for you, man. I don't know where you live, but you're probably not going to need 8 rifle mags. I would have a magazine in the rifle, and then I would have 1 to 2 spare magazines. I could potentially put one on my belt as well, and that should be more than enough for most situations, unless you're like SWAT or some kind of specialty guy.
Or you already know you're going in a bad situation.
Yeah, yes, or you work in a place where you shoot at people with rifles every day, right? It does happen. Then, of course, I have my taser. I choose to mount my taser up here because it's still on my right-hand side, but it's not anywhere near my pistol. So it would be very hard for under stress you to confuse drawing this taser for drawing a lethal handgun. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of law enforcement incidents in recent history where they get those two things confused because they carry them too close together, or they just didn't have the right training for the environment that they were in.
Yeah,
and so they're drawing like lethal weapons and engaging people that were supposed to be engaged with non-lethal, or vice versa. And then you're putting your life on the line. If someone's got a gun on me and I draw a taser, that's a bad day, right?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that if that's something that you have to use for your work, you have those things in separate places where it's like a completely different type of muscle memory to remember to take them out. And then I also carry an additional tourniquet up here. I've never heard anybody be like, man, I brought too many tourniquets to this gunfight that I was in. That's not really a big thing. Also, especially now as a regular person or as security guard, law enforcement, it's not just like, oh, someone got shot, I need to put a tourniquet on him. Car accidents happen every single day. More people in the United States die from cars than guns or sharks, of course, you know. Yeah, tourniquets in every car. Don't drive, yeah.
Gun sharks.
Gun sharks, exactly. So, you know, it's important to have a lot of medical stuff. I carry a Sharpie just for marking things. Obviously, it's a pen, it's a marker. I actually carry a pen usually, but I dropped it and haven't replaced it yet. Don't tell anybody. Oh, wow, perfect. There you go. Yeah, so a pen would be awesome. More prepared than me. Oh, thanks. I don't know where to put it now. Damn it.
Oh.
So that kind of stuff's important. This is actually a roll-up dump pouch that just goes under the carrier. I just like it here because when it's rolled up, it's not even there, right? It doesn't make a difference. But if I need to store additional stuff, like evidence or something like that I have to pick up from a scene for whatever reason, I can unroll the pouch, bag it up, and then put it in here just to store it short term. And then, of course, I carry one like kind of admin pocket on the side here. And this pocket just has a notebook because, man, you always need notes, whether you're doing military stuff, security stuff, law enforcement stuff, just a regular person, a responsibly armed citizen. You should always have some way to take notes on you. A pair of nitrile gloves, and some spare cartridges for the taser, just in case any of my friends want to ride the Lightning, you know, having a reload.
It sucks.
Yeah, it's not great.
Well, in real life, but.
And then a cell phone case up here just because it looks cool. That's really the only reason I carry a phone up here. Yeah. Not actually a super great idea in my opinion unless you're using ATAC.
So you can watch Mud Gunner on YouTube
yes,
while you're
so I can watch the YouTube videos that I'm in with Ryan on my phone right here, and people don't even know. It's really great. Yeah. It looks good. That's pretty much it for law enforcement, like vest setup, guys, plate carrier setup. Not a whole lot goes into it. I don't need a ton of stuff because I'm in a squad car driving around. I can go to QT and get my free coffee that they give me for being an HOA enforcement agent, that kind of stuff. So
you also carry stuff in your belts.
Yeah, belt, and in your car even too. You can have a bag in your car because you're gonna be with your car for the most part, or at least close to it. And then of course that would get into like belts. So the next step, I guess, for this setup would be on my belt, which I'm going to speed rush through for real because I'm taking a lot of time already and I have a lot of stuff to do. Yeah. So this would be like either like a law enforcement style belt or a battle belt is what a lot of people call them. So obviously there's my handgun. I have another tourniquet and another tourniquet. Ooh, tourniquets for everyone. You get one. You get one. Couple spare magazines. Yeah, hopefully you don't need them, but you can have them. A couple spare magazines, flashlight, a couple pairs of handcuffs, and an actual IFAK. And then, of course, my personal favorite tool as an HOA enforcement agent, my baton, my extreme compliance tool. Great things to have, right? And that would pretty much round out like a law enforcement kit. If you were going to switch this kind of belt to like a more combat setup, Ken, if you want to grab me the JPC real quick. So Kenny, yeah, Kenny's going to bring me his plate carrier. He's going to bring me his plate carrier. So this is kind of like just a relatively slick, tactical kind of setup for a plate carrier, right? So this would be something more like what your responsible armed citizen or militiaman or whatever you want to call it would have, right? It's got a couple magazines on it. It's got level 4 ballistic plates in it. He's got an extra pouch for like a radio or something else in here, and not a ton of other stuff on it, right? Not a bad setup. The way a lot of people have been doing it ever since the GWAT, right, the Global War on Terror, is they will have a battle belt like this, maybe a rifle mag, pistol mag, dump pouch, and a handgun. And then they'll have a plate carrier like this with more rifle magazines and some of your other stuff on it. And that has worked really great for us in the Global War on Terror when you're going back to a FOB or some other location to resupply at the end of the day, or after maybe just a 1 or 2 day patrol. It's awesome to have light kits like this, and that is great, right? That's the goal. But it only works for kind of specific sets of context, right? Specific combat environments that you'd be looking at, right? So like SWAT guys, for example, this would be like kind of a SWAT setup, maybe something like this with an extra rifle mag or something, and that would be great for them. But if you took that same setup and then I dumped myself into the deserts and had to fight in like small unit tactics, like platoon level engagements against other people, that would not be a great setup for that, right? Because I can't just go back to my car and grab another Red Bull out of my center console. right? There's no timeouts in real life, okay? So that's why I kind of want to do this video, just to break down for you like the different types of setups. So this would be great if you were operating in a city where you have a place to go back to that you can resupply from, so you don't have to worry about carrying food, carrying water, water purification ring gear, all the other stuff that you need to survive in any kind of protracted combat environment. When you don't need that stuff, this is awesome. It's a great setup, right? Works really well for you. Thank you, Kenneth. You want to take that away for me? And I'll throw this back down here. So now, I guess we'll move on to what I mentioned before. So this is more of a sustainment setup, right? So this is the kind of a belt kit is a popular term that they used in the British military to describe it. We're kind of like just now starting to go back to setups like this in the US military. For a long time we went away from that and we only carried all of our stuff on our vest. And then we found out after 20 years of war that everyone's knees and back were destroyed from carrying all the weight up here. So we're going back to wearing belts like we did in Vietnam, where they distribute the weight a lot more evenly across your body using like your hips and your shoulders together, right? So that would be what this kind of setup's for. It's got all the same stuff that you had on that little plate carrier kind of setup, but there's also all the other stuff that you need to sustain a fight, like some sustainment capabilities. So there's like I can throw a frag grenade in here or just some administrative stuff, whatever, something small. There's 2 rifle mags on the right-hand side, which, you know, I'll get into when I get to the other side. Then I have an admin kind of pouch here, and so that has all my, it's got a headlamp, it's got my reference cards for like call for fire, medevac, all the other things that you would need to use in the military side, but you can also apply them on the civilian side as well if you guys, you know, train for that.
Maps maybe.
Maps, compass. Yep, a compass would go in here, my headlamp, maps of whatever area that I would be in.
Looks like you got some gloves.
Yeah, gloves. There's something down in there, I think, a pair of gloves. There's a notebook, and then actually there's also some hydration little packets that you throw in a water bottle to help you hydrate, and there's like 1 protein bar, because snacking is an important part of fighting. I mean, it's kind of a joke that we talk about in the military. We call it pogey bait, when you're carrying all like your beef jerky and your lickies and chewies around with you, like your candy and stuff like that. But that stuff does serve a purpose. The sugar can provide you with a quick boost when you're getting tired and you need it, but also like keeping your stomach from growling can be important depending on the situation that you're in. So it's good to have some light, high protein snacks on you for those kind of scenarios. Then I have a water bottle or canteen pouch, 32-ounce water bottle pouch. So it's literally just a big Nalgene bottle, right? Because I live in Arizona now, right? So to me, any kind of fight that you're going to be in, unless, like I said before, you're doing it out of your vehicle, water is going to be the biggest part of it. If you run out of water, you're not going to be any good at fighting anymore.
I think we're at day 78 or 79 consecutive days where it's been over 100 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can feel it just going outside, right?
It's normal to us.
Walking to your car, you're starting to sweat already just walking from your house to your car, right? Yeah. And if you don't carry water with you, then you're not going to be any good to me in a fight, right? So water's a huge thing. I have a small like admin pouch on the back here. For the video, it's just kind of stuff with some random stuff, but this is where I would put like for now it's got a wet weather top in it, right? So I could put either a poncho or a wet weather top inside this pouch. Not only obviously for rain, but also just shade, you know, in a sunny place and stuff too. Then of course we got another water bottle pouch here because 2 of these big Nalgene bottles, we're starting to get there a little bit. Like that's a little closer to what I should have on me for any kind of protracted thing. If I got to like hike through the mountains or something to go fight somebody, this is not going to be enough. I'm going to need even more than this, right? Water is a huge consideration. No matter where you are, it's important to have water. Yeah. And then if you live in a place where there is lots of groundwater, some way to purify that water is an excellent idea to have. I don't have to worry about that too much where I live because there isn't any groundwater for you to purify for the most part, right? So, and then of course, IFAK. You got to have an IFAK on your kit, whether that's on your vest, your chest rig, or your belt. You know, you should have an IFAK. You have to have an individual first aid kit on you. Those are the rules.
We did videos on medical talking. The first video was tourniquets, second video was IFAKs, third video was wound packing. So.
Yeah, so definitely go check those out, guys, because I cannot understate how important medical stuff is. And then finally, I have another double magazine pouch. That's 4 magazines total. Not a full combat loadout, but I'll show you why that is in just a second. And then there's some extra space on the belt if I need to throw like a specialty pouch, smoke grenade or something on there, I could do that. And that's it. It's padded, it's got suspenders because you wouldn't want to wear this just around your waist. So a good set of suspenders are awesome to help redistribute the weight across your shoulders and stuff. So pretty good setup. I've been testing it out for a while and it works. I'll have my lovely assistant bring in his just so I can show you like a more kind of a larger setup real fast. We're not going to break down every pouch on it, guys, but I wanted him to show you this just because you can see it's a little bit larger than what I had. Bigger suspender system. There's a back panel that you can put a hydration carrier on, or you can put other stuff on here. But he's got essentially the same stuff. He just has a little more of it, right? And that's individual preference, right? So he's got a bayonet on here. He's got a lot more magazines than I have, which is great. But again, as I'll show you in a second, I have a different system, so it makes sense that I have less mags on the belt. But if you're running this, he's got all the magazines that he needs on here. Also note he's got a grenade pouch here too, big sustainment pouch, more sustainment pouches. So it's similar to what I had. It's just a different way to do it, right? Because there's 1,000 different ways to skin a cat. Thank you.
And everyone has their own.
Now get that the heck out of here.
And you'll see it in like videos, pictures, like even like all the military clones. Everyone, I mean, it's similar, but they can run it their own special way. So
yeah, there's like a few things you want to make sure that you stay consistent on, like where your IFAC is important, that everyone has the same, at least general location for your IFAC, so that if one of my dudes goes down, I immediately know where I need to look on his body to find his IFAC to use it on him. So things like that, yeah, that's important to be regimented. But as regular people now, you can put your stuff wherever you want. I would highly suggest that if you are into this kind of stuff and you have friends that you do it with, then you should coordinate things like that, just because there's a reason that we did a lot in the military. It works and it has a place, so communicate amongst your group.
Yeah, find classes that you could go and test this gear on too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I only had 4 magazines on my belt because this is the second part of that system, is a chest rig. Ryan did an awesome video about chest rigs, which is great, that I watched while I was sitting on my couch playing with my chest rig, right?
And
when I wasn't playing Call of Duty.
So.
And it was still a great video, right? So this is my chest rig. Now, this is designed to work in conjunction with that belt. I can use one or the other, but the intent is that they would both be together, and that makes up part of my system. If I know I'm going somewhere where I don't need to carry a ton of water, I just need to carry mags to fight people, then I can dump the belt and just wear this. If I'm going somewhere where the chances of me taking contact are a lot less likely, like to set up an OP or something, or an observation post, then I might not need the chest rig. I might just bring the belt, because the purpose of that isn't to fight people, it's to observe people. If I'm getting in fights, that's bad and things have gone bad and you need to retrograde from that situation. So the nice thing about when you do it in pieces like that is that you can tailor the system up or down to meet your needs for the environment, right? So this still isn't like a one end-all be-all system, obviously, because if you guys noticed, one thing that's not on this or on that belt is armor. In the kind of setup, the kind of fighting that I'm talking about doing right now, chances are you're probably not going to wear armor. Like Ryan said, it's like the 79th day in a row that it's been over 110 here. You're not going to be wearing body armor every day, everywhere that you go when you're walking around in like a light infantry role in Arizona. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to work. You will dehydrate yourself. You will die. So what you could do, if you still insisted on having armor, you could put it in your rucksack, in your plate carrier, and then once you stop at some kind of place outside of the objective, like a patrol base or whatever, you can take your ruck off, you can put your arm on, and then you can go do what you need to do. Come back, take it off, put it in your backpack, and then get out of there.
Yeah.
But wearing it all the time, generally not highly advised. Even in the military, we don't always wear armor, right? People have this conception that we're always 100% of the time, anywhere we go, we're wearing armor. And in the global war on terror, that was a lot more the case because we were driving around in vehicles a lot, or we were walking short distances to set up little bases and then moving from place to place and resting a lot. In a protracted kind of closer to like a peer-on-peer conflict, that's not going to be the case, right? So armor kind of starts becoming a little bit less of a priority when you get into stuff like that.
At the very least, if you want, you could do soft body armor. I have a soft body armor panel that literally weighs like a pound. So.
Yeah, soft body armor is great for fragmentation too, guys. And most of the casualties, when we did this big study on body armor in the United States military at the beginning of the war in Iraq, after a few years that it had been there, they found that most of the casualties that were taking place were from shrapnel and fragmentation, and less from like direct gunshot, person-to-person gunshots, and more from fragmentation from explosives, whether that be IEDs or rocket-propelled grenades or hand grenades or improvised explosives and stuff. So a lot of it was coming from shrapnel. And that's why when we get into this next part, which, we're already taking too much of your time anyway. So yeah, chest rig is one way to do it.
If they're this far in anyways, they're like, okay,
they're
I want to listen
right?
to what he has to say.
So chest rigs are great. I can clip this into a plate carrier if I want to, though, which Kenneth's going to bring me the IUTV. Now, which is going to show you guys. Yeah, we're waiting on you, man. So he's going to show you kind of what I was talking about. Now, understand this is like a 100% military setup, so it may not be the best thing for you. I'm certainly not going to be humping this thing around anymore. Thank you very much, Uncle Sam. Did enough of that already. But this has what's called a TAP, Tactical Accessory Panel, which is onto the front of it, and that's basically just that chest rig I showed you, but it clips in or out of the vest, right? So you can run this as a standalone system with these harnesses. Thank you very much, Kenneth. With a harness, so you can wear it like a chest rig, or you can clip it directly into your Improved Outer Tactical Vest, or IOTV, which we don't use anymore anyway. They're onto a new thing. And then now you have like a complete system, right? So all the stuff that you have is on there, but you can still take it off if you need to. So I'm going to pop that off real fast.
It's kind of just like a placard system in its own way, but like my placard system, it clips in the front and then just Velcros down. Where this one, it's just held together by 4 clips. It looks like.
Hand me the Halo one. Yeah, so like this is closer to Ryan's.
This is the exact one I have.
Yeah, the Haley Strategic rig.
Yep.
So yeah, and it has this awesome Velcro, like hook Velcro panel on the back too. So you can use it as a front flap on a plate carrier. It's a little bit narrow. Obviously, it's narrower than the military one. So you can use it as a chest rig, standalone chest rig, or as a front flap. So those are awesome too. Absolutely.
And it's got like, I'd say for the average civilian, this is why I use it. Mine is the heavy chest rig. This is a heavy too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can run 4 308 mags, like I have a SCAR 17, or 4 AR mags that works really well, 2 pistol mags, and then I have a little dangler pouch that has medical in it, and then just everything I could kind of need, a multi-tool, light, knife, a little bit of first aid, glow sticks, batteries, just everything that I feel like I need as a civilian, worst case scenario, and then I keep soft body armor with this since it's not hard armor, but I really like it, and it's, I'd say, pretty affordable for the average person.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're probably not going to believe me because I'm wearing all this stuff and showing you all this stuff, but you don't need to wear every single piece of tactical gear that you own at one time, right? You want to try and wear as little stuff as you need for the individual situation that you're in, right? If I'm doing an assault on a compound in Afghanistan, yes, I'm going to have more stuff on me, right? That's just how it works. If I'm a responsible American citizen like I am now, because I'm not in the military anymore, I'm not going to carry all this crap on me for most of what I'm going to do. There might be like a very rare circumstance or two where you're going to want all this stuff, right? But that's not going to be your everyday end use kind of case, right? You're going to want to you want to narrow it down and focus it more specifically to what you're going to do as an individual. So like Ryan said, that chest rig that I showed you would be great. That's what I use for like shooting matches and going out in the desert and LARPing with the boys, stuff like that. That would be perfect, a similar concept. And then if I needed to, I can scale it up by adding a plate carrier. I can add a belt. I can add a helmet even. If you need to add all the other stuff, you can, right? So it's scalable.
And on a side note, we just did IDARM last month, which is the Independence Day Action Rifle Match. Mason was, he did it, and he was also one of the stage crew chiefs there. And I ran this chest rig because I don't want to run around up in the mountains with this, with body armor and everything. So I just ran my chest rig, and it was relatively doable, but that would have sucked a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. So. I want to round this out for you guys because it's already gone too long, but I did promise you that I would tell you the difference between a plate carrier and an armor carrier. This is an armor carrier. Understand these aren't like dictionary defined terms, right? They're just kind of loose terms that we use in the industry. But an armor carrier means that this vest isn't just shaped and sized to hold plates. All of this shape is filled with soft armor, right? So the soft armor actually wraps completely around your body, goes under your armpits, and it's the same shape on the back of it. So it carries soft armor and plates. So it covers a lot more of your body. Gonna mean it's heavier and it's hotter, but it offers you more protection. I mentioned the shrapnel thing to you. That's why like US military vests typically have soft armor that wraps around the sides and stuff, because we're a lot more concerned about fragmentation and shrapnel from explosives and IEDs and stuff than we are just gunshots. You can even see plenty of pictures of guys with deltoid armor protectors that cover their deltoid region. It's soft armor usually to stop fragmentation. They also make front neck guards. Then they make lower back guards and stuff too to protect your spine from fragmentation. Oh yeah, that's actually really good. Yeah, so this is a neck guard for one of these carriers, right? So this is actually soft armor in the collar. So very uncomfortable to wear, and I absolutely took mine off the second that I was able to do so. But it does protect your neck a little more. Thank you.
I'm sure everyone would want to be in a protective bubble, but the more you add on, the harder I would assume it's to move and all that.
People are like, why don't we just wear full steel armor everywhere over our bodies? Because you would, well, in Arizona, one, you'd cook yourself to death, right? Which is would not be good. Yeah, slow roast. And number two, you'd weigh so much you wouldn't be able to move. And even if you have this awesome armor on, but you can't move, then you're just a sitting duck, and they can just shoot as much as they possibly need to shoot at you to eventually get through your armor and your protection, right? So it's a balance between mobility versus protection. And that's why these vests have kind of gone out of style. And finally, after 20 years, the U.S. military is going to like plate carriers instead of having a ton of soft armor wrapped around every part of your body. One super fun game we always used to play.
Masons, though.
Yes, the little guys, right? One super awesome game we used to play with each other in the military, though, they make this really awesome groin protector. And so naturally, as you know, mature adults in the military, we would always take these groin protectors and rack each other in the nuts with them, which was very annoying, right? And then so you'd take them off, and then you'd be like, wait a minute, I don't want to get blown up and have something happen to that. So let me put it back on again. And very long, very, very complicated game. You know, just something that we do as adults, right? That's really it for the armor carriers itself, guys. Manley, servant, get this stuff out of the way for me, please. Squire,
Anything else?
Yeah, the last, this is it, man, I promise.
Oh, you're good.
So last thing I want to go over, Ryan has a good video on helmets. It really,
it's basic. It's
well,
my helmet setup. But
it gives you what you need to know about helmets, guys. This is just one setup that I have. This is a bump helmet, so it's not ballistic. I use this typically when I'm in training or when I'm doing night operations, and I'm a little less concerned about getting shot in the head and more concerned about having a good place to hold my ear pro and my nods in a reliable location. They're not going to get damaged or broken, and it does still protect your helmet from, or your head from, bumps and scrapes, things like that, right? But scrim, this is kind of becoming a lot more prevalent now. It's what they call this loose material on here, because we're finding that camouflage alone isn't really enough. So you can see a lot of the dudes in Ukraine fighting right now from both sides are putting like foliage and stuff in their armor, and that's not a new thing, guys. That's like OG how you would camouflage yourself.
helps
And it's
break up the line of your body.
yeah, yep, and it's finally coming back. So the military's starting to teach that stuff again because they realize like, oh crap, even though we have thermal drones and all that stuff, it's still relevant that you have this kind of material in scrim. So they're starting to bring it back, face paint and stuff like that, right? We do that because it looks cool, but it also can block your thermal signature depending on how you do it and what you use to do it. So that's just a basic helmet thing. And then this is actually the IFAK that I run for a lot of those kits. You'll notice that it's a fanny pack full of loose shotgun shells and ketamine. No, there's no ketamine in here, unfortunately. So it's this is my IFAK. I like running it in a fanny pack like this because I can either have it around my waist, mount it on my back. So, and then if I have to get in a vehicle, for example, that'd be very uncomfortable. So with a fanny pack, I can just switch it around to the front. I can also take it off, run it across body. I can take it off and throw it to one of my battle buddies if he needs it to access the stuff inside of it. It's just nice to have an IFAK that you can detach. Additionally, I can take this with me anywhere I go, even if I don't have all my other kit on, right? When you tie your IFAKs to like your vest, for example, well then if you just take your vest off for 20 minutes to go use the bathroom in the woods or something and then something happens, well guess what? You don't have your medical supplies with you anymore, right? You don't have your ammunition with you anymore because you put it all in one part of your system. So it's nice to have a separate thing. So now if I'm taking a break with the boys or whatever, drinking some water, I take my vest off for a little while, I can still clip this on and have it, or if I have to go somewhere and be really light, and quick and stealthy, I can just take this off and leave the armor behind it and wear just my IFAK. I can always, at a minimum, have my individual first aid kit full of stuff. And you can put some extra stuff in here too, but I have some of that hydration stuff I mentioned and, casualty cards and things like that. But we talked about all that stuff in the medical video, so we won't get into it here. There's three other accessories really that are kind of ancillary accessories, right? One of them is you always have to have your Red Clover coffee hat with you, just because it increases your accuracy by like +2 and your damage by an additional D6, I think, of damage. So it's important to have that. You should check them out. And then some little things, depending on the type of conflict you're fighting, of course, there's the classic insurgent's hat, your Pakul. Unfortunately, people who wear these are pretty good at fighting. And then your classic Irish Republican Army 3-hole balaclava. Just depends on the type of engagement that you're fighting. But those are just kind of little extra things that you can throw in a kit. Or not. I'm not your dad. I can't tell you how to live your life. But hopefully I was able to answer some questions that you didn't know you had. This is the kind of video that could potentially have a lot of questions. And as I say in every video that Ryan allows me to blather on about if you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I will be happy to answer them for you. This is literally what I do for a living. I love this stuff, right? So I'm happy to answer your questions.
We can keep them going for another 4 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to need beers for that if we're going to do that, right? So yeah, that's all I got. Please stop me, all right? Don't let me do it anymore. No more talking.
Well, thank you for all the information. And that's all this is, guys. This is just free information for you guys. There's never enough information that you could take in, right? You can get multiple opinions from multiple people. That's how all this works, and that's how we form our own opinions is, I'll listen to Mason, I'll listen to, all the other YouTubers, whoever else, and kind of form my own opinion, and then just trying it out. Like, a lot of it, you can listen to it as much as you can, but it's hard to really have the full understanding without at least testing some of it. Now, I'm not saying I want to go get shot at in a plate carrier, but
yeah, not great.
At least run some drills in a plate carrier, take one course in a plate carrier, or battle belt, whatever. Try, if you get night vision, try a ballistic helmet, because I've got a ballistic helmet from Mason, have that on for a few hours, and going from never having any weight onto my head to having 5-10 pounds on my head worth of stuff, it's very different when you actually implement it versus just having it. So, that's the main thing. My concept, my viewpoint on stuff is constantly changing. My setup is constantly changing as I learn more and as I test more. So, I know I was just sitting there staring at him the whole time, but I just wanted to.
Thank you. You're a very good audience, right?
Yeah.
If I had any 2 things to leave you with, it would be, most importantly, if you take anything from this video, it should be that looking cool is the most important part. right? So it's all about just looking cool. None of the other stuff matters as long as you look cool while you're doing it. And the second thing is, don't let anybody shame you from doing this stuff. There's a lot of people on the internet who are like, well, I was in the Marine Corps in the 80s, and it's stupid if you're a civilian and you're wearing body armor. Yeah, don't worry about that guy, all right? That guy's irrelevant. That guy doesn't matter anymore. Wear the stuff, go out, try it out, play with it. Don't be afraid for people to be like, oh, whatever, you're just
don't let
LARPing.
it bother
It's okay.
you. People are going to shame you. Don't let it bother you. Because I get
They're going to
shit
do
on
that all
my
the time.
videos too.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. And screw them, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Also, go check out HOA enforcement on Instagram and TikTok because that's Mason's meme channel for.
Mine and Dave's pride and joy.
Yeah, they post
It's
funny videos.
absolutely serious. Definitely no jokes whatsoever.
Yeah. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any other video ideas that you want from us, just let us know and we'll try to get them done. So thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for the next video.